Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Here we are, morning.
Good morning, and wow, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Mid-July, I guess it's already mid-July. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yep. We got Fair Week. We've got remnants of the hurricane. We got a ton of rain for a couple of days here.
Oh my word! It's been nothing but rain.
Yeah.
Nothing but rain.
Yeah.
Nasty, flooding going around. Unfortunately for the fair, it's right in the heart of the week.
Right. And nobody could have predicted this.
No. How did we know that a hurricane was coming?
Right.
We're getting the remnants of the hurricane.
Yeah.
Fair week. But it is what it is, right?
Yep.
Get out and enjoy the fair anyway.
Yeah, but finishing out the week with better weather, so that's good.
Yeah, hallelujah.
Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Running in the rain is enjoyable too. I started that marathon training, so get out there in the rain.
Yeah,
I look like a wet dog.
Yeah, right.
Soaked.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I imagine showing houses in the rain isn't fun either.
It's tough because you hate to go wandering into somebody's house and track garbage through mud, this, that, and the other thing. So this is now definitely a time we're taking our shoes off when we go in and show out of respect for the home seller, right? Yeah. And so I don't have to go clean water, footprints in mud.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. No,
ruin carpet.
Right.
It's crazy, but it's all good. It's part of the business. So. Open house season's pretty much over, right? Although you've got a big one coming up. You got one graduating.
Oh, yes, sure do.
At your open house?
Yep, absolutely. So that's going to be a good time for sure.
Yep, and then moving on to college.
So I'm going to have two in college. Yep, thank you. So two in college. So,
man.
Yeah.
And the bills just keep on coming.
I know. It's like, they're poor college students. Now I'm a poor college dad of college students, I guess. But, yeah.
Well, and when the kids go off, a lot of times that changes people's lives, bringing her back to housing, right? Life changes.
Yeah.
Right? Now, whether it does for you guys or not, who knows? But a lot of people, kids go off to college, hey, it's time to sell. And the question we get asked, is now a good time to sell?
Yeah.
It is still a good time, even with all the disruptions and the chaos and the stuff we've had. When I say the disruptions and the chaos, it's that interest rates are up from where we've experienced them for a long, long time.
Right.
The good news is they've kind of settled down, so we're not seeing that fluctuation up to 8. They're hovering around 7. And if you listen to previous shows, I'm forecasting the year between 6 and 7. Well, we're staying at the upper end of that range. When I bought in 2000, they were around 7%. So, we're back to where we started. 20 some years ago, here we are sitting at 7% interest rates today. The biggest difference is housing prices have appreciated pretty high.
Yeah.
So, if you are going to sell, the importance of pricing it right is there and always will be. It's like just put this on repeat and say it over and over and over again. You got to price it right and it will sell. Now, get asked, well, is now a good time to sell? Well, yes, if you price your home right and it's in good condition, there are still buyers in the market. Now, there may be fewer buyers, but at this point, demand is still pretty strong. There's a lot of activity. I'm not saying there's a lot of selling, but our stats that we've talked about in the past, sales picked up. Sales did pick up. And we're in the heart of the selling season.
Right.
So it is still technically a seller's market, even though things are slowing down. So, and they're slowing down due to those higher prices. It's summertime. People are on vacation. They're this, that, and the other thing. If they don't have a reason to go out and look, they're not going to come out and look.
I've heard a lot of people say, I'm waiting for interest rates to drop because we were told at the beginning of the year that the Feds were going to drop those rates, but we're not seeing it happen right now.
They have not adjusted rates, and rates have stabilized. And, if nothing else, I think that's the important piece is stability means you can adapt and adjust and work within the system. Once you know what's going on, you can adapt and you can adjust. And you'll do what's right for you and your family at that particular point in time. Yeah. But the taking advantage of, hey, I'm going to list my house and sell it because people are they're buying sight unseen, they're buying no inspections, they're buying all that. That stuff is gone. Now, we're still experiencing multiple offers because, you might have one or two really nice homes that fit everybody's boxes, and you have multiple people that are interested in that.
Right.
But if you're priced too high, if you're not priced correctly, you're not going to get showings. You're ultimately not going to sell it. It's going to, or it will take much longer to sell it. And many times I talk with sellers about, we're marketing to the middle part of the normal distribution, and I'm going statistical on you, but a normal curve, a bell curve, which many people have heard that term, it goes up and down, and you have things on the outside at the upper end and at the lower end, which are outliers. Those are, if I'm priced really high and I've got a unique property, I'm looking for the one. I'm looking for the one buyer. Well, typically we're marketing to the middle part of that distribution, which is where most people are, where most buyers are. So you've got to price it right, and using an agent to help you do that is important. Using current prices, not using prices from 2021 or 2022.
Things have changed.
Just because your neighbor sold in 2022, at the start of 2022, for X does not mean that you're going to be X plus 10% because you're using that data to price your home. The market is changing. It's constantly changing. And within a couple of months, you can see variation and change in pricing. So for sellers, ultimately, don't set a price that's too high, or you're going to be on the market a lot longer. Every house is sellable, but it's at what price? That's the point. So don't price it too high. And, I guess part of the things that come along with that are when people do improvements to their property, they're like, oh, well, I put in $20,000 in the kitchen, I should raise my price by 20. Well, that's not true. Overestimating the value, you typically do not get dollar for dollar on improvements that you make to homes.
And that's where I think a good agent really earns their money, when they come in and they can tell you exactly what your house should price for. And then that negotiation ability that most people just don't have. You put those two things together, and that's where I think an agent earns their money.
Yep, I agree.
All right, so after the break, we got more details on this, including some current stats right now. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm Woody Zimmerman here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes, and we're talking about the current conditions, how the market has changed quite a bit, but it is still a seller's market.
It's still a seller's market, and Raj, we're going to have you put some graphs up here. So one labeled average annual inventory of homes for sale. It's average annual inventory of homes for sale. So we're going to have Raj put this up here. So this is the month's supply of existing homes. And if you look at this graph, right in the middle of 2008, it's a big red line. That's telling us that there were 10.5 months worth of inventory on the market. 10.5 months. I was working at that time. That's interesting. Contrast that with where in 2021, we were down to less than 2 months.
I believe that.
It was 2.3 months, I'm sorry. Now we're at 3.7 months. And it's still below the average line. So the average annual inventory of homes for sale, they're still not caught back up to normal. So when people say the market's dropping, prices are going to fall off, it's not happening because there's still not enough inventory to meet demand. There's still, this does not. And part of that is what makes up the housing inventory. You got homes that people are selling, pre-existing, you got new builds, and you got foreclosures. So the graph that says builders aren't overbuilding, they're catching up, shows exactly that. In 2005 through 2008, there was record-setting homes on the market available, during the crash. Things were sitting. You saw 10.5 months worth of inventory. Builders are still trying to catch up. We're not even back to 2015 levels. In 2010, they were building not many homes. And on the graph that Raj has, it's awful low. So, and we're just now back to where the single family housing units completed in thousands is 1,000 thousands. And we're just getting there. So there's still not enough. And the last piece to that puzzle is foreclosure filings.
And I bet they're way down.
They are way down. And we've got a graph here showing that foreclosure, there was a foreclosure moratorium between 20 and 22. We're still really low as far as the number of foreclosure filings that are out
Well,
there.
laws have changed on how much a bank can loan you on the
Correct.
value of your home.
And that's exactly why, is
Right.
things have tightened up. So
Yeah.
when if you're a buyer and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to wait till home prices drop, not going to happen. There's still not enough inventory. Builders aren't building enough homes, and we're not getting any more foreclosures. So the three factors that influence a big part to home pricing, that we're seeing improvement, but we're still not oversupply. We're
Right.
still undersupply.
And again, I've heard people say, well, I'm going to wait for interest rates to drop and then I'm going to buy. But the thing is that interest rates are higher to curb inflation.
Yes.
But the economy is
Still chugging along.
Yeah, it's
Still
pretty
chugging along.
steady.
Yeah.
So they're not in a big rush to lower those because
Correct.
they like what they're
Correct.
seeing.
The Fed likes what's going on. They're not going to drop rates. They may make some adjustments. At the beginning of the year, they were talking 6, 7 rate adjustments.
Yeah,
They haven't even done one.
Yeah.
So, all right, do you think they're going to do 6 between now and the end of the year? Probably not.
Yeah.
They may do 1, they may do 2, but it all depends. It all depends. And what's it depend on? The economy. How things in general are going. So, bottom line for sellers, it's still a good time to sell.
Yeah.
Although you're probably not going to make what you would have made if you'd have sold in 21, 22, or sell as quickly as you would have at that point. For buyers, though, there's no light at the end of the tunnel as far as prices dropping off to cut in half to where if you're waiting for that steal, it's not going to happen. At least unless something dramatic takes place in the economy.
Right.
But you've got those three factors that are influencing, housing supply. Their builders can't build them fast enough. Right? They can't. But even if they did, the prices are going to be higher at a higher interest rate.
Right. And for sellers, if they've got a low interest rate,
right,
then they're going to question their why.
Exactly.
Which is what you brought up.
We talked
show
about
number 1.
Forever.
Yeah, exactly. So it does come back to your why.
It does. And I guess the last thing I'd like to mention, and it's July 1st, there were significant changes in state law as far as working with a realtor. So if you have a buyer's agent, you will be required to sign a buyer representation agreement with a definitive end date as of July 1st. It's state law. Every realtor has to have you sign that form. So many times we get people that, hey, I just want to see this house. Well, it's uncomfortable to have to sign a contract because you're working with that person, but the reality is that's law. We have to do it.
Yeah.
From an agent's perspective.
Well, I'm just browsing though.
Yeah.
I just want
to see the house.
Yeah, I just want to see the house.
So if you get told, hey, you need to sign this contract, it's not the agent being janky or whatever. It is state law. So it's a mandatory change. There's more changes coming down the pike, and we'll talk about those at a later date.
All right. Very good. And if you'd like to continue this conversation with Mark, make sure you reach out. Mark, contact info.
Sure. The website, skabowskiteam.com. Phone numbers, 574-527-0660. You can always email me, mark@skabowskiteam.com.
All right. That's 2 skis with a bow in the middle. All right. Very good. You've been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.